Okay, you know we have to start it off this way. Where is it? Yeah, that's it with the black flag. I hereby dedicate this video to this tree. Hey guys, Dustin here, and today we have the IWI Galil Ace. This is the one in 7.62x39. They make them in 308 as well as 223. And so I went with the 7.62x39 because it's a lot like an AK in the first place. And so we actually have the PSA AK here, which we will have a review on this soon. And so you can, of course, see the similarities, even the folding stock. And offhand, though, you know, the first thing I notice is you have the rear sight is further back, whereas on the AK, you know, it's all the way up on the barrel, which gives you just a slightly longer sight radius. Not too much, because on your AK, your sight's at the very front, and then on the Galil, it's back here on the gas block. But we're just going to start from the back and go to the front with all the cool features. That folding stock is neat, as well as it's adjustable, and so it's just like your regular AR carbine, and it's solid. I mean, you wouldn't know it's folding unless you, of course, you know, saw it. But just, there's no slop in it at all. You pull it down and then it folds. The one thing I would wish it had is like those, the round QD swing swivel studs. That'd be great, because it's just got a notch here, as well as a kind of a hole here that I suppose that would be the best bet for you to mount a sling to if you just had something with a clip. Hey, look, Ma, one hand. Okay, it's two. It does fire closed. Moving forward, you have ambidextrous safety selector switches. And so this one's a lot like an AK. So if you were used to the AK and you're reaching over here, you would find it. But then us AR guys, when we roll our thumb forward, boom, now we have it off safe. The dust cover's pretty slick. If you look right here, that is the dust cover. And so it's pretty sealed up on the chamber part. There's not much junk that could fall in there. But then when you run this, I got to do it from up here, I guess. You see how that pivots? And it fouled up a little on me, but I put some oil in it like a couple hundred rounds ago, and it's still snapping back into place. Just because I shoot suppressed all the time. So when that rough gases from that dirty ammo comes back in there, you know, it was hanging down and not going up, but just a little oil, and then it's working like it needs to now. So then your magazine release is going to be the same as a regular AK. The shroud here, though, gets a little funky. You got this polymer magazine well, and what that does is the AK, I mean the Magpul mags that come with it work just fine. But say the X-Tech mags, they won't fit because they're a little fatter, and they have that on it, as well as like the Tapcos have some extra beef on it. They're not going to fit in there. If you had a drum, it wouldn't fit in either. So a lot of guys, what they do is they just, this polymer right here, that's part of your hand guard, as well as your, I mean, not hand guard, your grip, as well as the trigger guard. And so they just chop this off right here and then open it up. And so I'll probably do that shortly after this review. I just didn't want to fart around with cutting up and chopping up the gun that we're going to show on video. Now, the handguard itself, this is the Midwest Industries handguard. I saw that shot show, I'm like, I need that, because this thing is just chunky and fat. This is the one that comes on it, and after looking at these, I'm like, oh, and this just looks ugly too, so the stock one is just kind of meh. But the good part is they did include the pick rails, and so you just slide these rail covers off, and then you have rails for mounting anything that you would like. It's just chunky, but I tell you, the install, one screw takes this off, and two screws and one set screw puts this Midwest Industries one on, and I was like, wow, that was the easiest handguard switch around ever. And it even came with Midwest Industries sent rail piece with it even, so heck yeah. And so now it's M-LOK, and you have QD sling studs on it, so that was a cool upgrade. Now the sights are pretty impressive. They have tritium in them. You have 2 dots in the rear, and then you have your front post has tritium as well. And so I was like, heck yeah. For a stock gun, I was all about that. Now the tritium is on your close quarters peep. You know, you switch up. It's a smaller peep without tritium, which makes sense, because if you're shooting long range, it's not going to be at night through a tiny hole. The bolt charging handle, of course, is reciprocating on the left side. You know, it just makes sense. You know, AKs, yes, AK guys, you're gonna reach over here for a little bit, but it gets real easy to just run it on this side. There is no bolt hold open for the the AK variant, well, you know, the 7.62x39 variant, the 308 and 223 ones will bolt hold open because, of course, magazines and all that jazz. The barrel, super accurate. It's a hammer forged, chrome line, cold hammer forged barrel, just like they use in the IWI machine guns. And the barrel is concentric to the threads, so a jam nut. So that right there is a jam nut that I jam against my Saker mount, and I didn't do it, I guess, correctly the first time. And you know, when this kind of gets locked up and you're twisting it, the muzzle brake would move, and then it would shift my zero, because I'd be like, man, why is this thing not working? But that's just, if I need to just get it installed properly and tighter, and it wouldn't do that in the future. It comes with some sort of muzzle brake flash hider. I don't know which one came on it, because that's the first thing I do is throw it off so I shoot suppressed. However, when I did that and shot suppressed, I noticed that, boy, okay, with my Bowers Verse 30 suppressor, I've done a video on it. It has real limited blowback. It's not bad. This Saker, a lot of blowback. And so that blowback was, the piston system was overspeeding what the magazine could feed, and it would jam up. So I got the K&S Precision adjustable piston, and it fine-tuned it quite well. So this is the regular one, and oh heck, let's tear it apart. Now you'll have proper cheek weld for the optics. All right, let's shut up and shoot, do some accuracy tests. Oh, one thing about the trigger I forgot. All right, so the good thing is you have it on safe. You can clear the chamber and all that stuff, so you can unload it. You can't do that with an AK-47 because when you're on safe, everything's blocked off. On the Galil, you can, because nothing's blocked off. However, us competition guys, you know, you unload, show clear, drop that hammer. If that hammer is dropped, okay, with it on fire, we can cycle it. With it on, oh, drop the hammer, on safe, can't cycle it because the hammer's down, and it won't let, the safety won't let it, you know, come back. So just make sure, I guess, either you don't do that or you know that, oh, we have to put it on fire just to charge it even at that point. So you may not want to drop the hammer, because if you're loading up at a match and you got your safety on and you're wanting to, oh crud, you can't, you know. So anyway, just a point. So I put my K&S Precision piston back in, but at the all the way closed setting. So this should mimic exactly what the factory piston would do. And you can tell I'm messing with it, right? Okay, but here's what we didn't talk about earlier, is this piston ping that is awesome. Listen to this. I love that. I love that. I think the K&S one doesn't ping as much. Probably has too much going on to give you the same harmonics. We're gonna see if it even runs fully closed with the suppressor. I'm guessing no, but then we can see how far the brass flies. Yeah, and just demo that. Oh, sweet. Okay, brass is going about 15 yards. That one went about 10 or 12. Well, things working well, even with it closed. I'm impressed. Before, it was kind of a magazine feed issue. And so that's working fine, but the recoil impulse is much greater. And so by adjusting it back down to where it's throwing about 4 or 5 foot, much better recoil impulse. So now let's remove the suppressor. It's gonna be hot. Okay, we're good. Got that Bowers wrap on it, so I can at least handle this part here. I just had to hit that unlock. All right, so now we're gonna see if it runs just with that K&S piston all the way closed. Oh, it's lighter now, I like it. All right. All right, brass is going about, what is that, about 1.5 o'clock, about 8 foot. So about perfect. Louder and a little more muzzle rise than earlier with the suppressor, I believe. Yeah. All right, no bolt hold open, there you go. What I figure we'll do is a little bit of accuracy test. I got a camera set up down there where this is our 100 yards things. What's up, big pig? What's up? Yeah. So what we're gonna do is just put a group on target, and then, this is just wolf ammo. Then what we'll do is we're gonna remove this receiver plate, and I want to see if it goes back to 0, because I mean, if you do any kind of maintenance, especially like when I was adjusting that piston and mesh, you're gonna need to take that off, and if you have optics on it, you don't want to have to re-zero every time before you know it's good to go. So let's check that out. We'll just check our tolerances and go with it. All right, going for that one steel target. The Holosun's a 65 MOA ring with a dot in this, like a 2 MOA dot in the center, so it makes it pretty easy. I think that went short. Let's go about there. Alrighty. Oh man, it's like the same hole. Same splatter. Wow! Still hitting. Oh shoot, 3 for 3 for as much as I can see from here. It looks like we just have a nice tight cluster. Let's try to hit the hostage head on the left. I guess we're good. Okay, I'm gonna try to hit it back again. Oh, I nicked it, because it's at a weird angle to me. I'm gonna still try to hit it. Got it, nice. All right, so that's with the bulk wolf ammo. I mean, when I printed this on paper, it was easily sub 2 MOA with trashy, cheap steel ammo, which begs to wonder, how does some high-end stuff like Fort Scott munitions work? So they sent me a box of this, and I've used it once in a 308 video further back, and you gotta be careful because that thing will actually like poke you. It's so tight. So these are CNC bullets that are made to tumble on impact. So I'm pretty sure we can see that LaRue target in the back. I don't know if my zero is going to be the same because these are, what grain are these? 117 grain, so just a little bit lighter than the other stuff. Let's go for that LaRue target, see what kind of group we get, and then maybe pull out some gel and see if we actually see it tumble in the gel. I hit it, but I can't see because copper, solid copper, leaves such a smaller mark. I think it's hitting just a tad high left compared to the other ones. Let's do 2 more so we have a 5-round group. It smells good too. It's kind of neat. All right, 1 more. All right, let's check it out. All right, so I had to get a towel and wipe the targets down because they're so muddy, because look at that. When you shoot a steel plate, those frags go straight down and then splash everything. So here's this guy here, and this, shoot. Okay, so we only had 2 flyers outside of that. And what was I doing? Like 3 rounds removing and back in. So that's like a sub 2-inch group at 100 yards with a red dot. That's cool. I like that. And it is dead center. I mean, I thought it needed to bump left, but our zero held well. I've removed and replaced that receiver cover several times because you saw it in the video earlier. And then our Fort Scott munitions hit just a touch left, and there's 5 rounds there, but I can only count the 3. Now, this may look bigger because, well, I mean, that's doing pretty good. So, that one flyer was a oopsie. I don't know where that came from, but then that's actually 4 rounds right there. So still on this, it's the same. I really should put paper up and use with a a magnified optic, but I say let's skip that stuff and let's just go straight to shooting some gel with that Fort Scott stuff while we're here. Okay, so I wanted you to see something before we moved on, and that is that this optic isn't going to fit on here with this rear sight. It's a Miopta in a, what is this, SPR-15 LaRue mount, and it hits this rear sight every time I try to put it on, unless I put it way far forward here. This rear sight looks pretty permanent, but it's got a kind of a rail, but when you take it off, it looks like it's just, it doesn't look like it's easily removable. It might be removable, but not easily, because I guess if you break it, they want you to replace it. So we're just gonna put the Holosun back on here and then test out this Fort Scott tumbling effect, see if we can get that to work. So I'm gonna zero in on a seal so I know where to hold, and then we'll go with that. Oh snap, it's dead center at 50. Double check. Sweet! Okay, we're gonna hold dead on that gel block. That sounded great. I wanted to shoot it again, but we're gonna go check it out. Look at that 50-yard group. They're right on top of each other. That's better. All right, so it looks like we did get a good bit of damage right there. Like it it tore stuff up after about 6 inches to about 6 to 9 inches, really where you want. It started to tear and tumble the mess out of this. It hit my barrel, but not with enough energy. Well, maybe it did. Oh, wow, we may have caught the bullet. Oh, yeah, that's cool. Okay, so we probably have a bullet inside this barrel. But yeah, it did what it said it would do. You can see it's about 1.5 inches wide cavity there, turned black, and then it's still tumbling here. You can see that big wave. That's pretty cool. It does what it's supposed to. Let's shoot it again just for kicks. We're gonna shoot that gel block a time or two more just because I like the sound of it. It's smoking when I hit it. I know that went through because it hit golf balls in the back. Okay, that's too much fun. All right, we're good. All right, and the same thing. So we got the same cavity, about 1.5 inches wide cavity. It looks like a blade that's spinning in there. So from this angle, this gel gets kind of glary. Every single one passed through. It looks like it spun here and then spun again. So it's definitely doing its tumble stuff. So cool stuff. So that is the IWI Galil, guys, and I am using it as a hand warmer too. So that is optional when you have a suppressor. But it's becoming one of my favorite just fun rifles because, you know, 7.62x39 is cheap ammo, and this is an accurate and reliable gun, and pretty quiet. I didn't realize until I pulled my ears out. I'm like, oh, I can do this. But they are on the pricey side. But I mean, when you think about it, just a folding stock would run you $200. But I've seen them as low as $9.99, and so don't be scared when you see the retail on the website for the you know, like $2,000 or something. I'll try to put a link in the description to more detailed blog post. You can check that out, and then we'll try to put some links for everyone who finds some better prices. Send them to me if you find something better than I did, and we'll put them there. Thanks for joining us today, and leave a comment, like, subscribe, all that good stuff. Hit the notification bell because YouTube hates gun videos and they're just going to bury it anyway. Yeah, see you next time. Guess that wasn't locked down.